Thanks for stopping by. You're listening to How'd You Sleep? Fussing or addressing? Talking about some of the things that's been on my mind. Wondering, how I love reading a good book. I'm wondering, do I need to, bring out To Be a Slave just for reference points, because we're not going back, but there are very clear, I can't even call them implications. The desire is for us to reclaim the space from whence we once were. No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. Hell no. So, fighting tooth and nail against an institution that has just, we're trampling over the Constitution. If the current state of affairs was written as a show, as a movie, I don't know if it would even sell, because it would be so far-fetched. Never. Did you think ever this would be where we are? Like, you just knew. Granted, Black people were 3/5 of a person when the Constitution was written. We were still enslaved. Our ancestors were still under the thumb of white oppression. Heavily under the thumb. Legally under the thumb of white oppression. However, with so many strides, am I alone in thinking that what was won actually would mean something for eternity, for the balance of the days on the planet, for the balance of the existence of this nation? And to see the intentional unraveling, and not just the unraveling, but the permitting of the unraveling. We're just letting it unravel. You couldn't write it. And if it received a green light in Hollywood, I can see it being like, oh, such a wonderful film for something that could never happen. It would be like sci-fi. You would have never been able to tell anyone, at least not me, that this could happen. But that's part of the problem. We were okey-doked into believing, what is it called? You rest on your laurels. Okay, we won this, but things were not codified. So what was not codified, it's able to be undone. Even things that were placed into law and bills, attempting to undo. And then, of course, urinating in our faces and telling us that it's right. Oh, that's not what we're saying. That's what you're saying. Bullcrap. I call bullcrap. That's exactly what you're saying. And, the statement was, a friend and I were talking about this, and they said, well, besides whining and continuing to discuss what's wrong, how do we strategize? And I said, I don't know how to strategize beyond what's being done. They are undoing everything. I saw a quote, and it said, right wing or left wing, they're both still on the same bird. And with what's happening, being allowed to happen, you'd be hard pressed to believe that maybe this wasn't intentional. Maybe this wasn't the plan. Maybe putting that gorgeous woman that with the stunning resume in the place where she only had 107 days to be given a chance to succeed. Maybe that was a setup. I said it. From Jump Street, I believe in our hearts, we knew it was going to be a hard push. But if a white woman, former first lady, former spouse to a president that held 2 terms, didn't win, why would we think that she was going to win? As angry as as people still are about having a Negro male in office, she didn't stand a chance. It feels like a setup. I said it. Speaking of things that I say, this whole boycott, I'm just keeping money in my pocket. I have not been to Target, Walmart, used Amazon, or the .coms of any of them, since November, and more than likely will never be back. And Hulu, done by Friday of last week. We were amongst the millions or the thousands, however many, that canceled their accounts and or beat the nutsack of Disney. And so, because I have to speak against it, even if all of this is for naught, we can't go down saying that we didn't We didn't fight. We can't keep moving as if life is just business as usual. Our regularly scheduled programs, literally our regularly scheduled programs, our regularly scheduled lives have been interrupted. And we cannot just continue with the business as usual way of moving. Those are things that have been on my mind. Those have been things that I've been challenged by. Add a little sugar, baby. This is about 2 weeks old. I understand. So we all know our sis Tabitha Brown, has amassed much fame, much fortune. Many opportunities have been afforded to her. She has opened, so many doors have been opened for her. And I'm extremely happy. As an entrepreneur, a few times over, as someone who has started and stopped, as someone who has been attacked or arrested by imposter syndrome, I get a few things about the fears of becoming an entrepreneur. Chief among them, not being able to withstand, not being able to attain the audience, the clientele that you need, everybody being excited in the beginning, and then it dying down, even no matter how much you're racking your brain on how do I grow, how do I keep my audience. It's still the business, it gets old or your audience dies out, because in many cases it's your family, it's your friends, but it's not evolving into strangers for whatever reason. The business may not do what you need it to do. So Tabitha gave a message, and you've seen the message. I've seen the message. If you haven't seen the message, to break it down, she suggests that entrepreneurs in this time get a real job, get a 9 to 5. Hold on. Get a 9 to 5, because it's not fair to have those that love you funding your dream month after month, possibly year after year. It seems as though I don't know if she was canceled, but I know many feelings were hurt. People felt some type of way. But you notice people feel a type of way when truth is spilled, when truth is served at the table. We don't always like truth. She did not lie. Like I told you, like I've said, I am a singer actor. There's nothing more other than being around children that I love, and eating Ethiopian food. But I was created for the stage. I was created to create. That is who I am. But creating often does not feed the bulldog. It does not bring meat into the storehouse. It does not pay the bills. We hear that term starving artist. It's not a cliche. It's not something that we just say to sound in vogue. It's a true statement. A lot of the times you're honing the gift, you're getting trained, you're building, you're developing, and you're not getting paid while you're doing that. And you're spending hours, years into developing this craft, and you may or may not ever get that break. But because it's your art and you love doing it, you continue to do it. And if you are surrounded by people that support your dream, then great. But you hear so many stories of bankruptcy or getting out of here, or feeling like you want to get out of here because the dream has not manifested the way that you thought it would manifest. I took heart to what she said. I will also say it sucks, because that's not what I want to do, but it's what I have to do. I need benefits. I need benefits. I need benefits. In addition to benefits, I need my bills paid. I need the roof over my head. I enjoy a meal multiple times a day. I have subscriptions that must be paid. I have car insurance that must be paid, car notes. I have a dog, vet bill. Like we have what we have, right? And we need what we need. So it's not to put it to the side. It's not to put it on the back burner, but it is you have to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. And sometimes for some, it takes longer than others. I realize, and I get it, because I don't like to hear those that are on the winning team tell me either winning's not all it's cracked up to be, or tell me, well, just wait your turn, or because that's how you hear it, right? I do have to say she's not wrong, though. She's not wrong. I'm super happy for her. I know there are people that have been grinding longer than her, and it doesn't seem fair. And that whole thing, favor ain't fair. You ever notice when if you're in service, if you're in church, or if you're at a concert and someone says something, who here has a dream? Who here believes in themselves? And everybody raises their hand. So if everybody believes in themselves, if everybody has a dream, and then the next statement is, and who's ever had somebody try to spit on your dream? And everybody raised their hand. Somebody in the audience, half of the audience is the spitter and half of the audience is the one being spat on. So we have to keep that in mind when we're thinking about the dream and the dream happening. There's so many that have the same dream and so many that have a dream. But while they have the same dream, others are desecrating the dream, spitting on the dream, telling somebody that the dream may not happen. And everybody handles that differently. Some people thrive throughout the doubt. Some people thrive. Some people succumb to the doubt. Some people give up. And some people push through. And while doubting, some people win while doubting. And some people win while working towards the win. Literally, you can't call it. Sometimes it feels like it is luck of the draw. We can't get mad at somebody for giving us sound advice. As an artist who only wants to create, who does not enjoy the 9 to 5, who does not enjoy the waking up and doing the same thing every day in the world of corporate, but who does enjoy a paycheck and being able to go to the doctor with the best insurance that her plan can buy. I get it. I dig it. And I'm with you. So we have to be more open to, we can't say that we want to have better lives. And then when someone gives us sound advice, it's problematic. They're hating. It's trouble. We're troubled by the truth. That's whack. There's also something really sweet. And the reason I put Tab's thing under have a little sugar is because you got to take a little sugar with the spice. And the spice of life is just the truth of life. And to me, her message wasn't spicy. It was sweet. It was necessary. It was honest. And it was from somebody who's been there. She's driven Lyft. She's been on the grind. And she won. I'm a few days from 43 years old. I remember watching my mother's face just immediately evolve into a liquid source. It was like liquid skin. I'd never seen anything like it before. She was going through the beginning stages of menopause. And I'm here now, nearly 20 years later, and I have already experienced the joy of the hot flash. I remember I was singing, and it's unrelenting. If anyone has experienced or is experiencing the hot flashes, it is just the wow of it all. And it's so, I can't say it's unfair. It's what it is. It's what we're promised. The gift that keeps on giving is waking up every day. My God, millions didn't make it. And some are fighting for their lives right now. And I apologize to Jehovah above for wanting to let go when I wanted to let go, and sincerely thought about it and made plans, because I wouldn't have gotten to see today. And today's a great day. Today is really a great day. And some people are fighting to enjoy today. I'm not fighting to enjoy today. I'm just enjoying today. And that's such a blessing. Girlfriend and I were talking yesterday just about the blessing of being where we are, just being still and enjoying where we are, enjoying those that are still here, enjoying that we are still here. It's really a blessing. And the air that we breathe, being able to appreciate the air, and what is considered the simple things, I don't take for granted. We shouldn't take for granted. But I'll be 43, Lord willing, in a few days. And your girl has been on stage, and the glisten, the liquid skin has begun, and you just feel the pouring. And it's almost as if somebody is just gently emptying a bottle of Poland Spring on your temples and going down. Okay, you don't want Poland Spring, we do Fiji, okay. The Fiji water, and just remember Evian. Everybody thought they were special because they were drinking Evian and Perrier back in the day. Anyway, you have water just dripping down your face. Oh my gosh, it is so unattractive. And I can't, wearing makeup, Jesus. Oof. But it's the price of admission to still be here. And so I'll take it. I did IVF. And one of these episodes, I will talk about it later in more depth. But I did the beginning stage. I froze my eggs last year. Getting older, the quality of the eggs is not the greatest. The number of the eggs is not the greatest. And it was an experience. I will just say that. I'm glad that I did it. Apparently, it doesn't put you in early menopause, but hot flashes could be a result of this procedure being done because you're injecting yourself with so many drugs to stimulate the eggs and to grow the eggs so they can be retrieved. Ugh. The sweetness. 43. I am not one to do a shake a bottle, but I did want to give a little shout out and celebration, and I will drink this for you and celebrate with you, because making it to any next step in life is a beautiful thing. I will tell you that the pivot, and I know I'm annoying some sommelier wannabe or an actual sommelier because it's taken me so long to open this. The pivot is something that we don't enjoy. I'll speak for myself. I don't enjoy it, especially a pivot that you didn't see coming. I had expectations for myself at this stage. I just knew by now there would be a husband. By now there would be at least 2 children. By now, oof. Oh yeah. By now there would be an established career as an artist. But I say, cheers. And thank God for another year, another day, another opportunity to get it right, to answer the call, and to fulfill the purpose. I'm not a drinker, but I love me some pink champagne. You can tell I'm not a drinker because I can feel it going through me right now. All through me. Told you my birthday was coming up in a few days. But this is a Tuesday show. Absolutely. If there's a choice of drink, hot tea and orange juice are going to be at the top of my list. Those are my faves. I've seen this get mixed reviews when people say it, but I will say it. 43 is not the new 23. It's 43. I feel things I didn't feel in my 20s. While I feel things that I didn't feel, I also have a level of self-awareness that I didn't have in my 20s. I have a level of acceptance and refusal to accept certain things. I have a level of resolve that I grew into that I didn't have in my 20s. One of the pieces of resolve is recognizing a bullet dodged, whether that was a friendship bullet, whether that was a romantic bullet. I am wise enough now and getting wiser to accept the things I can't change and to revel in gratitude for missed opportunities. Missed opportunities can humiliate you in the moment. They can feel like rejection. They can feel like no in the largest font, in the boldest color. But sometimes the no is necessary. Had I not dodged bullets, had people not let me go, had I not walked away from certain people, certain situations, relationships, and even an opportunity or two. I may be here, but I may be here looking older. I may be here teeth a lighter shade of white, and what do you see that commercial? Mother of pearl, I may be looking more disheveled. Had the bullet not been redirected, had the rejection been redirected, rejection found me, and so did the no's. I grew from them. I grew from the pruning. I grew from the being let go, being told no thanks, being dismissed. There were tears for some things, there were questions for some things, and then there was a resolve. It wasn't immediate, but there was a resolve, and I'm absolutely feeling that champagne. I should have had a burger to soak it up. We'll do that later. There is something about being rejected. I don't look forward to it, but at this stage, I'm more adjusted to it than ever. It doesn't surprise me or catch me off guard. The pain is not what it used to be. And there's a beauty in that, because the pain stifles you, right? Because you got to lick your wounds and you got to do these things. And if you're me, you got to call everybody and ask them a million questions. And you're going around asking this, what did I do wrong? How could I make it better? What did I do wrong? I didn't make it better. The only time that I do that is if there's a job that I didn't get, whether it's a real work job or a performing work job. I auditioned for something and I was bigger than what they were looking for. So they said, oh, she has a beautiful voice. A friend of mine connected me with the audition, so he knew the casting director, and he said, they're not going to say this to you, but you're bigger than what they wanted. I couldn't be mad at that, nor could I couldn't lose that much weight in the time to make it to get this part. If I show up to an interview. So I was unprepared for that. I was well versed in vocally, but physically, visually, I was not what they wanted. No tears. I know I have to update my presentation because everything is not Effie in Dreamgirls. I was a great fit for Effie in Dreamgirls, and I landed that role, but my voice was not great for Effie. I landed the role because nobody else showed up for that audition. I want to land the role because I'm 100% in everything. So what do I have to do? I have to train. I have to act as if I want it. Anyone that is anything, from your top executive to your, I don't know the term, well, I'll say to your MVP, they trained, saw the goal, set the goal, and went for it. I mean, sometimes we do trip people up and you do have your Nancy Kerrigans, but you know what I'm saying? For the most part, when we win because we set the goal. A goal set is oftentimes a goal met. And I have goals that I need to meet. So told you that I'm up around 5, and I was up this morning and I was out of the house and I found a tennis court with a wall. So I hit the balls just to the wall and run. Hurts my knee a little bit, but eventually it's not going to hurt my knee. And I did what I could do. I don't believe in pushing, because sometimes you can push and it can make an all right situation, not so all right. So, but you have to accept the pivot. And I can't sit in the pain of rejection. I cannot sit in the whys of the rejection, or the how could they's in rejection. They said no thank you, don't like you, don't want you. Okay, I will do a quick assessment. What didn't I do? When it comes to people, unless there was a major offense and the person meant something to me. But other than that, I don't spend too much time on people today. I just don't. I used to waste hours, days, weeks about what went wrong when it came to people. I need the job. I don't need you to like me. It is lonely at the top. And I tell you, before I get to heaven, I will be at the top. And it's very cold at the top of the mountain. We've seen the photos. It's icy up there. Everybody can't last with you at the top. And I'm cool with that. So yeah. Dodging bullets, also dodging doubts. Dodging doubts. Dodging doubts. We are wired as humans to doubt ourselves, to doubt our abilities. We let the freaking imposter syndrome just sit on our shoulder. Sometimes it be straddling our shoulders. We won't even have the angel and the devil. We just straddled with imposter syndrome. Freak that. Do it. Try it. And then believe, because you might believe as you're doing it. You think I didn't think nobody wanted to hear what I had to say? Leah's always talking. Nobody want to hear what I have to say. Absolutely. I'm doing it anyway because I know that I have something to say. I know that I need to leave something here. I know that if one life is changed, then I did what I needed to do in this space. What you here to do? What difference are you going to make? Dodge the doubt, yo. And this is not like some talking in bumper sticker. I'm for real. Dodge the doubt. Because that shit's just going to sit there and continue to hamper you and your dreams. Freak that. Dinner is served, baby. I was thinking about time, and not just because there's a birthday, another another spin around the sun approaching, but I was thinking about time and how much of it I've wasted just assuming that I will always have more. The arrogance of assuming that you will always have more time. I turned 40 and it hit me. Heffa, people start getting diagnoses and getting out of here in their 40s, right? Scared the crap out of me. I cried so hard as I was approaching my 40th birthday, probably on my 40th birthday. I wept because the realization of maybe not achieving what I needed to achieve by 40 for sure, but definitely if I don't make it to the next decade, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And feeling oppressed by the clock. I'm not a slave to time, but I've also learned to respect its finite nature because we absolutely don't know. And you can do all of the push-ups and the running and the go and play tennis and the waking up and having all of the best intentions for it to live a long life. And things don't go as planned. Y'all heard of Flojo, Florence Griffith Joyner? She was a track runner, died in her sleep. I didn't know until today she and my mother are the same age. They're both born in 1959. And freaking Olympian in her sleep. You couldn't have written that. Because we run to help our hearts. Some things are beyond our control, and we don't have, all of it is actually beyond our control. And how we're going to leave here, unless we take it into our own hands, is beyond our control. And even that, people try to take their lives in their own hands. And that isn't even successful. Until you're ready, until you're supposed to be out of here, you're going to be here. I wasted years. Many of the years I wasted following what I thought I was supposed to be doing. Other years I wasted trying to be who I told myself I was going to be. This phase, it's not the final phase, but it is a beautiful phase. It is a glorious phase because my direction is clear as crystal. Speaking of crystal. So the truth is, you could probably see it. I gotta be real. This ain't crystal. My champagne glasses are crystal. This ain't a crystal glass. I asked for a champagne glass. My glasses are in storage. So it's this plastic piece of crap, but it does the job. Crystal clear. And I pray that God opens doors. So let's just say I wasted 10 years of doing what I thought I was supposed to do, doing what I was told to do, basically 10 years of unknowing. So now I was 39. So that these next 10 years, 39 to 49, let these next 10 years, right now, these next 7 years, show the growth of 20 years, have a 20-year growth in 10 years. So that's an exponential rate. I am hoping that God does me that favor. When I have opportunity, I seize opportunity. Leah, can you? Yep. I have a master's degree, earned. I don't know if they give honorary masters, but I'm just making it clear. I slept with no one to get that shit. I have an earned master's degree. And if you need me to clean your house on my hands and knees, because I was raised old school, I'm cleaning your house with my master's. Because the way that I look at it is an opportunity to make money is an opportunity to serve. I also believe that I will be honored by God for my willingness to say yes, even in spaces that don't make me comfortable. Leah, can you sing here? Sure. I'm not comfortable. And not because of the people, but because you're asking me to do something that's taking me out of my comfort zone. I'm a singer, but I don't sing like that. But if you're hiring, okay. I believe that God is going to honor my willingness to come out of my comfort zone. And he's going to make a way. I believe, as old folks say, mark my words, I believe it. All the years of self-doubt, all the years of delay, all the years of just wasting time, I do believe that he is a restorer of it all. You don't got to restore no relationships, but I would like for the time to be restored or extended. And you look at it, and 4 weeks, most months, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks in 12 months, that's really not a lot of time. It makes sense that when you see a child one day and then you see that same child the next day, it seems like so much time has passed, and it really hasn't. Because time truly is one of those commodities that it's like water. It just spins and we think it's always going to be there. It just moves and we think it's always going to be there. It is ever moving. It is nonstop. And in that, it feels unfair. It feels like a thief because you can't catch it. You got to catch it while it's there, and you got to make the moment still because you can't catch it. You can't go back. You can't hold the moment. I had to stop wasting time. I had to check myself about the time that I was wasting taking stupid jobs. There's a strategy now when I take a job, even cleaning a floor. There's a strategy for that. There's a purpose for that. There's a gratitude for the honor of being trusted with someone's personal space, in someone's personal space. Absolutely. So I had to recognize that time, you hear it all, you hear it. It's all, your life is short, blah, blah, blah. But when you recognize, I'm not getting any of this back. You move differently. You may already be there. It took me longer, but I'm crystal clear, or plastically clear on the value of time and the innate nature of time to just go through your hands. Time is expensive and it is non-refundable. And with that said, I challenge you today, whatever it is, write that vision. I may say this every episode, write that vision and try to check something off on that to-do list. Make that to-do list as close to a to-done list as possible this week. To do. We look at, thinking about our to-do lists. I don't know if you had this expectation of life. I talked a little bit about where I wasn't, where I thought I would be by this age. And I'm thinking, I'm proud of where I finally got. I told you that when I hit 40, something shifted. I recognized the value of time. It took me longer than it should have, but I finally arrived. I also am no longer embarrassed to say certain things, certain truths, certain realities. That's how long it took me. And I am finally there. That said, I would revel in the thoughts of the marriage, revel in the thoughts of the baby and the photo shoot with the big belly and holding the munchkin and finding which parts of me and my family and which parts of their father I could trace in their face. And that hasn't happened. I heard Tracy Ellis Ross say this. I'm paraphrasing, something to the effect of, all this that I've done, and people will still ask me, so when do you think you're going to have a child? Like, are you unfulfilled? Do you believe that you're unfulfilled because there's no child? I have lived 43 years. I have survived. I have achieved. I have restored. I have righted wrongs. I have faced a fear or two. Spiders are still the devil. I've put a smile on faces. I've put a fair share of frowns on some faces as well. I've brought joy to people. I've made some money, received standing ovations. I've been humiliated. I've been praised. I've watched a baby come out of someone's body. 43 years. I've never been married. 43 years. I've never received Employee of the Year. 43 years. No one's ever called me mommy. But what I've done with my 43 years is made it. And what I've done with my 43 years is taken over the wheel. And I have rerouted the plans that were written for me, the plans that were dictated to me. And I've created my own set of expectations. We often don't celebrate the non-noticed, the unnoticeable milestones. I quit my job to tour in Europe and sing for 10 weeks, a job that I hated for 4 years. Was I going to stay in that job, that secure job? What the paycheck was secure. What was also secure was the truth that I didn't have to worry about growth. There was no opportunity for growth in that job. So I was going to stay in that job, continuing to be a hamster in a wheel, and miss the opportunity to tour varied nations, sing in over 50 concert halls, meet beautiful people from foreign lands who I otherwise would have never met. Leaving that job, I don't care what it felt like to anybody else. I would have not forgiven myself if I didn't. And when I was on that tour bus, and when I was in all of those different hotels, and when I was breaking bread with these beautiful people, when I'm walking in Italy with beautiful people, and I'm walking in Germany with beautiful people and singing and having wonderful conversations, I would have missed that for the sake of a job that was going nowhere. I said yes to myself. I came back stateside. And the joy that has, as they say, as old school say, that has flooded my soul, it's almost indescribable. I remember Oprah saying when she built her school in South Africa years ago, she visited the school. And she said, I remember joy. I learned that joy has a texture. And there are a few times in life that I have felt that when I was with my godchildren, when they were babies, and when I'm with them now, they're in their 20s. When I'm with my niece and my nephews, Joy has a texture. And this year, I felt the reality that joy has a texture. And no one gave it to me. I didn't ask permission for it. I sat in it. I straddled it. I wrote it. And no one can take it away. It's mine. No one can take away those experiences. Nope, never Employee of the Year. But I performed at the Philharmonic in Munich. No one can take it away. I have watched people that don't know me be around and feel better after conversation. Never Employee of the Month. I watched a human being bring life into the world. Never walked down the aisle and given away to one man from another man. But I've said yes to myself countless times, and I have yet to regret it. I've dodged some bullets, and I ain't looking around for the shells. That's all I'm saying. Thank the Lord for dodging a bullet. I may not be who and where I thought I would be at this stage on this date. But the big old but, because Lily got a big old but. And the big old but in this conversation is, but I did it. I did a lot of it's. It's countless. And this is not me saying this to make myself feel better. I truly am grateful for the pivot. To be honest, the child thing bothers me. There's a tinge that I feel when I hear a newborn cry, and that's just the truth. And that's an episode for a few months from now. But I also think if I had a munchkin, because I got a dog, I got to find care for the dog. If I had a munchkin, I couldn't do Germany. We need benefits. If I had a munchkin, if I did go to Germany, who's taking care of it? Can't bring an infant on tour. Kid, and if it's older, kid has to go to school. So I'm thinking, maybe God does know what he's doing, because he knows who I am. He knows what I need and how I need to get to the place where perhaps motherhood can be a part of my life, or to the point where I'm okay with not having life come through my body. I am recognizing that there are more pressing matters, as pressing as motherhood has been all of my life for me, and still is. I'm coming to the conclusion, I'm coming to the point of accepting at least what it is today. And what it is today is an opportunity to make fetch happen with the life and the time that I've been given. I recognize that my wins may not be worthy of social media shares. They're shareable to me, because choosing me, choosing joy, is always worth the share. Resisting the urge to succumb to expectations is always worth the share. This joy I have, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. There are these pictures that are part of the set, and they're intentionally placed as a part of the set. I love this little girl back here. She looks like she's about 5 or 6. Looks like so many of us in that era where girls had, mom or whoever did their hair with the bobos. And then I have who we tend to become in the Waiting to Exhale poster. One of my novel, Waiting to Exhale, made into this beautiful piece of cinematic art. So many of us start off innocent enough, maybe mischievous. And some of us become one of these four broads. We may have Savannah's story of what seems like an eternal search for love, for masculine security. She had financial security. All these broads had financial security. Everybody had a nice little piece of change, nice little house. You know, we could be Bernadine, heartbroken, trying to find herself, figure things out after 2 decades of being managed by her husband and being okay with being managed by her husband and thinking that that was going to be the life for her, the life that she accepted. Yeah, Robin. It felt like her search for love was everlasting. It almost makes me wonder, was she searching for love or was she searching for herself? I think a big part of waiting to exhale is we're searching for a piece of ourselves. And there's a level of excavation that has to happen to get to that piece of ourselves. And Gloria had felt rejection. She was a beautiful woman. She wasn't told she was beautiful. She allowed herself to remain in that place of the less than beautiful one, though she also desired love and was worthy of it. And in the end, got the man. It is something when we think about waiting to exhale and holding it in. Everybody's satisfied when we hold it in, when we grimace. We're dying on the inside, turning blue, turning purple, having all sorts of inner turmoil while making everybody okay, while we exist in a constant barrage of dis-ease. I hope you treated yourself to naked. On the few days eve of my 43rd birthday, I would like to reintroduce you to a timeless classic. Remember Cosby Show? Waiting to Exhale. And I had to get the original. This is the cover I grew up with in my house. My mother had. I mean, yeah. I'm just starting with chapter 1. And no, I will not be reading the whole book, but not Dick Clark. Right now, I'm supposed to be all geeked up because I'm getting ready for a New Year's Eve party that some guy named Lionel invited me to. Sheila, my baby sister, insisted on giving me his phone number because he lives here in Denver and her simple-ass husband played basketball with him 11 years ago at the University of Washington. And since I'm single, which is downright pitiful to her, considering I'm the oldest of 4 kids and the only one who has yet to say I do, she's worried about me. She and Mama both think I'm out here dying of loneliness, which is not true. I mean, I have my days and I have my nights, but I haven't gotten to the point where I'll take whatever I can get. There's a big difference between being thirsty and being dehydrated. But Sheila and Mama have always thought that something was better than nothing. And look where it's gotten them. Mama, who thinks she's an expert on everything, hasn't had a whole man in her life for 17 years. And if I knew where my daddy was, I'd probably kill him for making her such a bitter woman. He broke her heart and she has never recovered. And Sheila, she files for divorce on an annual basis and calls me collect from some cheap motel where she and the kids are hiding out until she can serve the papers on Paul. I listened to her whine for hours about how sick she is of him and that there's nothing he can do or say that would make her go back this time. But then, like a fool, she turns right around and calls him up, repeats her long list of needs that aren't being met, and he promises to give her anything she wants. She refuses to believe him, so he begs on a daily basis for 2 weeks, and by then he's convinced her that he means it. So she gives in and goes back home. I rarely hear from her when they're honeymooning, except maybe a 3-minute synopsis of how hunky-dory everything is now, and because he's given her permission to go ahead and rip out the old carpet or buy some new dining room furniture. She's watching her money, which is why she can't talk long. One of my brothers is in prison for doing some stupid shit, passing counterfeit money, but he's not a criminal. And the other one's a lifer in the Marine Corps, so as far as taking advice from any of them goes, I'm skeptical. The deal is, the men are dead in Denver, which is only one reason why I'm leaving. I'm tired of this altitude, all this damn snow, and this obsession with the Denver Broncos. For the last 3 years, my life has felt inconsequential, like nobody really gives a shit what I'm doing or how well I do it. From the outside, everything looks good. I've got a decent job, money in the bank, live in a nice condo, and drive a respectable car. I've got everything I need, except a man. And I'm not one of these women who think that a man is the answer to everything, but I'm tired of being by myself. Being single isn't half as much fun as it used to be. Ever since I broke up with Kenneth, I haven't even come close to being in love, and that was almost 4 years ago when I lived in Boston. I miss that feeling, and I want it back, but I'm also not the type to sit around and wait for too much of anything. If I want something to happen, I know I have to make it happen. And as hard as I've tried, nothing unforgettable has happened to me since I've been here in Denver, which is why I'm getting the hell out of here. My baby sister also has never appreciated or understood taking real risks, so she wasn't all that thrilled when I called her 2 weeks ago to tell her I was moving to Phoenix. Why would anybody in their right mind want to live in Arizona? She asked me. Are there any black folks out there? And isn't that where the governor rescinded the King holiday after it had already been passed? I had to remind her that my best friend, Bernadine, the girl who was my roommate in college, the girl whose wedding I drove 60 miles in a snowstorm to get to because I was her bridesmaid, lives in Scottsdale. She's been black all her life, and she seems to like it there. And as far as the King holiday goes, all I could say was that I'd be one of the first people at the polls when the time came. It was right after Thanksgiving when Sheila called to tell me about this Lionel. I had just finished hanging a painting I'd bought by Charles Austin, a watercolor of a black man and woman jitterbugging in the 1940s. It took me 6 months to pay for it, and I was so excited to finally have it on my wall that I was standing there grinning at it when the phone rang. I sat down at the dining room table and looked out the window. It was snowing again, but it was beautiful. I swear, sometimes it feels like heaven up here. I live on the 23rd floor, and I have a 180-degree view of the Rockies in downtown Denver, which is right downstairs. I lit a cigarette and rested my elbows on the glass top. "So how old is he?" I asked. 41, she said. 41? That old? 41 is not old, Savannah. You're almost 40, so be quiet. Look, Sheila, I've been out here with enough of these 40-year-olds to last me a while. Most of them come in 5 minutes, are out of shape, sound like they're your daddy, or are so set in their ways they act like old ladies. And personally, I can't be bothered. You're starting to sound like your mama. I resented that shit, but Sheila doesn't know what kind of men I've been dealing with since I left Boston, and I didn't feel like telling her. She's accused me of judging them too fast, but hell, I know what I like and don't like, and it don't take that long for me to tell if there's any chemistry at work or not. I've met a whole lot of educated, successful black men who don't turn me off. Riffraff comes in all kinds of packages. So, I said and took a long drag from my cigarette. What's wrong with him? Nothing is wrong with him. If he's 41 years old and still single, something's got to be wrong with him. He's divorced. How long? Paul said 4 years. He's got his own business. And what exactly is his line of business? He sells fire trucks. He sells what? You heard me. Fire trucks. Wow. How exciting. Don't be cynical, Savannah. I'm not being cynical. Anyway, he owns his own home and even has some rental property. Did I ask you for his resume? No, which is why I'm giving it to you. You never seem to find out that a man doesn't have anything going for him except what's between his legs, but by then it's always too late. I didn't even feel like responding to that because Sheila doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. I think she ran a TRW on Paul before she married him because as far as she's concerned, if a man doesn't have good credit and isn't making 6 figures, then he's not worth your time and energy. And just what does this prize look like? I asked. Would you stop being so sarcastic? According to this picture, he's handsome. How old is the picture, Sheila? 10 years maybe? 10 years can destroy anything. Well, let me say this. Paul said he runs 5 miles a day, restores vintage cars, drives a Jeep, has college education, is 6'1", and that's all I know. I had to admit that my curiosity was sparked a tad, but I knew enough to not get excited. I'm tired of getting pumped up for nothing, but I called him, and he wasn't home. So I left a message on his machine. He had a civilized voice and Grover Washington playing in the background. I like Grover Washington. We played machine tag for 3 weeks, As the media representative for the gas company, I travel off and on, and Lionel told my machine that he'd be traveling too, trying to secure more backing for some new business ventures he was trying to launch. Well, at least he's industrious, I thought. And then, a few days after yet another solo and boring Christmas, I came in from work, and there were 2 messages on the machine. One was from Mama, asking if I could please Federal Express her $95 so she could take some crocheting class and pay her light bill, which was past due. And the other was from Lionel. He said that he and some of his racquetball buddies were throwing a New Year's Eve party at some spiffy hotel, and that I should come. So it wasn't like I had a date, but what I did have was something to do. It was better than sitting in this apartment with my cat on my lap purring. I haven't purred since I met Fred, but that only lasted a week because the wife he forgot he had came back from a business trip. But hell, that was 3 months ago. Wouldn't it be ironic if this Lionel play world turned out to be Mr. Right just because I'm moving? I just hope he's socialized, moderately charming, halfway articulate, and doesn't spend half the night trying to convince me how he got to be so goddamn wonderful. What I do know is, if my mind wanders when he talks, or if what he has to say sounds like some more superficial rehearsed bullshit, I'll do my best to be as gracious as I can and shine him on. One way I can always tell if I'm at least interested on a primal level is if I find myself wondering how he looks without any clothes on and imagining how good he is in bed. But if I don't even entertain the thought, it means he's not generating any heat. And no heat means no interest. Here's to 43.